Hey, it's Greg. I wanted to show you all how to use the Chrome tool Screencastify. It's actually technically not a Chrome tool, it's a third-party tool used within the Chrome browser format. It's an amazing extension, and I love to give student feedback with this tool. So all one needs to do to begin is simply go get the tool. And to go get Screencastify, it's as simple as going to the Chrome web store. You can either type it in, I happen to have it up already. So in the Chrome web store, I'm going to type in Screencastify, and it brings up the extension Screencastify. Now I already have Screencastify, but if I didn't, it would give me this little add to Chrome. And I'd click on here, I'd click add to Chrome. It would take just a few seconds, ask a couple questions about accessing my drive and docs, which is perfectly safe and fine. And lo and behold, when I'm done adding it, it gives me this film strip up at the top now. So now I have the extension Screencastify, and I'm ready to start recording student work. So what I do is this. I go to my shared with me, or if you were doing this, students were submitting work through a Google Classroom, it would be in your folder for your class. The paper I'm going to look at just happens to be shared with me. So I'm going to spend some time looking at the student's paper. And there's a couple options I have with Screencastify. I've got my student's document up before you. I'm ready to start recording. So what I do is this. To give feedback, I'll click on my film strip here, and it'll bring up some options. My first option is tab. And what that does, it will only record this area here within the Google Doc or Google Drive suite. If I click desktop, I have some options there. I can record the entire desktop, I can record up through my Chrome frame, or I can click cam, and that's only going to be my face using my Chromebook's camera. Don't typically want to do that and share that kind of feedback with a student. But what I can do though is embed a webcam. So if you see this button right here, embed webcam, I can actually move this around. I can put it in different areas. I want to put an image up at the top. I can put it down in the corner. Honestly, I don't often do this, so I usually do not embed a webcam. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and use desktop because I want you to see all the different tabs and buttons I'm using. So when I click record desktop, it's going to give me some options, my entire screen, my Minuteman paper, and on and on. I'm going to go ahead and do the entire screen just for the sake of giving you a better understanding of what we're doing. It's going to ask me if I want to share the screen with Screencastify. I do.
2, 1.
All right. So now I'm in Screencastify. And I know I am because of this little tab right here. My little film strip is lit up. It tells me I'm recording. And in Screencastify, the free version through Chrome Store, you get 10 minutes of record time and that's it, which is really plenty for students' feedback. In the paid version, you get unlimited time. Also, in the free version that I use, and I would suggest you use and not pay $22 for the full version, there also is a branded logo of Screencastify. So here's what I do with students. There's lots of things you can do. I like to do this. I've already read the student's paper. There's already comments in it, just like you do for a normal Google Doc. But I want to go in now and put a few markings in here and talk to the student about their paper. Ethan, I've read your paper, your analysis, integration of sources, well developed. One argument I have though is this. You mentioned Galvin page 6 here. I would suggest, why not use Galvin page 11 and 15? You know, even the author's arguments on these 2 pages, pretty solid, and they offer a whole lot for or a whole lot of support for your work. I also noticed here something interesting. Toward the end of the paper, in Galvin's conclusion, on page 133, you're arguing the role of Dr. Joseph Warren. Have you considered Warren's larger role in colonial Massachusetts? Although he was indeed a correspondence writer, would Dr. Warren's role, and so on and so forth. I can talk with the student about their paper, give feedback on content, grammar, mechanics, everything we'd normally give feedback, remembering that we're not giving evaluative feedback or feedback that suggests my feelings about the work or the student. Instead, I'm giving feedback that helps to promote that student's questioning further of the source. So What I've done is just basically gone through it like I normally would a Google Doc. But this time, though, I'm able to actually look through the paper I've already read and real quickly give some real fast feedback to the student, where I can spend up to 10 minutes just talking with them about the paper, which is really pretty amazing. Now, the really cool thing is this. I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and click up on my button here, and I'm going to end the recording. Now, it automatically brings up
now I'm in Screencastify,
the new
and
recording.
I know I am because of this little tab right here. My little film
And
strip
it tells me that it's going to save to Drive right here.
The free version through Chrome Store.
So we're going to go ahead and stop this. So now I know that I have in a folder on my drive, because I downloaded, because I have a little film strip here, I downloaded Screencastify, it automatically creates a new folder in my Google Drive. I'm going to click on this folder, and in a moment, it's going to show me a brand new document that's been recorded. It takes sometimes on a longer one, 6 to 8 minute video, it takes a few minutes to populate that field, but it should be there shortly. Let's see if that's showed up now. No, it's getting there. So what's going to happen is it's going to populate inside that field as soon as it does its compression work. But as it's doing that, I'm going to show you another option to record with. And this time we're going to use Tab. And Tab's kind of neat in that it allows me to start a recording, which I just did. I'm recording in Tab.
1.
Counts down to tell me it's beginning. But what's neat about Tab is it gives me these images here on the side. So what I'm going to do is this. Just to give you an idea what happens, I decided I want to embed my webcam. So I'm going to come in here and I can talk to the student. And while my webcam you see here in the corner, I'm going to move it up here because I don't want to cover notes. I can put it right here. We're going to put it right here because it's out of the way of the comments. So I'm reading through the paper and I can say, wow, Ethan, this argument's interesting. I've never thought of that. Why would you choose that? Why would you suggest King Philip's War right here offered so much opposition to the Narragansetts and the Pequot War didn't? Why is that? So I can show my image. Again, typically I don't show my face with students, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of there. What else is really neat with these options is I can click on the pen and simply using my arrow up and down, and you can see the size change, I can start writing with the student. I like to use color blue. It's not as threatening. But I'm going to come in here and say, interesting, Ethan, you used Galvin's arguments on page 21, but those same arguments contradict page 24. Tell me, why would you choose to use that, particularly in light of the fact that you were also arguing about the snowshoe men right here? I am not so sure I agree with that argument. Either way, it's an interesting one that you make. So what I'm going to do is decided I don't need these tools anymore. So I'm going to get out of them. What's really neat about Screencastify is now this stays in there. These markings I made earlier are going to continue to show on Ethan's or the student's paper in Screencastify. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out this paper. Really like your arguments here. See, I can leave a comment like I normally have in the past. And I like the fact that it was well developed. Use of evidence and on and on and on. So again, I'm going to go ahead and finish up after I've gone through this paper. Reminder, you have about 10 minutes and you have 10 minutes and Screencastify will stop recording. So now I have completely read through this paper. I've offered feedback and I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording of Screencastify. And when I stop this here, it's going to bring up automatically. And it tells me your recordings are being saved and it's playing for me. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. And this is still doing its thing right here, telling me it's saving, but I'm going to close this for now. And I really don't need the student's paper any longer. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And what I should hopefully have now in Screencastify is the first version I did. And here's the student's paper. And actually it's ready to go. So here's my feedback for the student.
So now I'm in Screencastify. And I know I am because of this little tab right here. My little film strip is lit up.
and it gives me all sorts of information here. It's a little fuzzy when you blow it up large, because certainly when you're on a Chromebook or a PC, you're not going to get, or even a Mac, you're not going to get some of the clarity in that large view. But the student can certainly play with those parameters. I'm going to go ahead and close that. So again, I was finished with my Screencastify video. It automatically creates a folder for me right here. I'm going to click on the folder, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that video, and I want to rename it. And I'll put the student's name, Bob Minuteman Feedback. It saves it as a WebM. It's a doc extension on the Screencastify. I'm going to click OK. And there's my student's feedback. That's it. And here's the second video we did. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this one. Call this Bob Minuteman Feedback 2. That's it. I've got my videos. Now, a couple cool options I can do. Number one, if I had a folder already created in my drive, say under courses, and I went here and I had folders set up for all my students' names, and they were shared folders, I could just simply go back to my Screencastify folder, back to Bob, and I could push that right off into his folder. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to take Bob's feedback video, and I'm going to get a shareable link. And I'm going to authorize that. Anybody can view in the log system. Remember, this only works in the log students, what used to be Google Apps for Ed, now G Suite for Ed. So I'm going to turn link sharing on. I'm going to copy this. Remember, Command C. And now I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to open my Gmail. And I'm going to find my student Bob. Here's Bob right here. And I'm going to put a little note in for Bob. Minuteman Feedback Video. And I'm going to write Bob a little note. Dear Bob, please see attached link. And I'm going to drop that link in right here. I could even do this. To feedback. And remember, I could highlight and I could link. Drop that video link that I just took from my drive in there and send. I just sent Bob through Gmail, through the school Gmail, feedback. And that's it. There's lots of different ways you could get this to Bob. You could send it Gmail, you could drop it into a folder. I can even open this up. I can click share, and I'm going to put in Bob's name again. And this is actually really easy if you don't want to put anything else, and then safer because you're not sending an email, though it's inside our school server, so it's not too much of a concern for me. And I'm going to make sure they can view. And here is your feedback. And it will notify them in Gmail and send. That's it. So there's lots of options. I can send Gmail, I can share directly with a message here, or I can drop it and drag it into a folder. That's how Screencastify works. That simple. I hope you enjoy it. It's a wonderful tool. Remember, the focus isn't the tool or the technology, it's the authentic feedback we're giving students. Enjoy. Good luck.